Communication, you know.
Don't take it to heart, child. Besides, aren't you happy that you got to skip the formalities and bring chaos to the land? Oh, it seems that some of your friends have arrived.
Hey, it's Zhongli and Child. And...
It's you two. I believe we've met once before. In the City of Bards, was it? Ah, right. I imagine that it must have been rather hard to forget watching helplessly as something precious was snatched away from...
No, don't let her get to you! You've yet to gather the powers of all 7 elements, and our last battle at the Golden House, so it might be best to keep things peaceful this time, seeing that...
Well, if it isn't you two. This is our first time seeing each other since Liua was nearly wiped off the map.
Paimon knew that we should never have trusted a...
Oh, now don't say that. Sure, I may have misled you, but I never had... Besides, I thought we were getting along quite well together, didn't you? Except for that, nothing personal. We just have different views, that's all. Of course, the real deceivers here are Senora and Zhongli. Curse them for leading me on. So actually, I think...
Stop wasting time, child. There'll be plenty of time to chat once I'm through here. You remember the agreement, Morax. Now, if you would be so kind. The Gnosis, please.
What in the world are you talking about?
The contract is fulfilled. That which thou seest.
How sanctimonious.
What? So you're the Lord of Chiao? No, wait! That's an exciting twist and all, but why give the Gnosis to the Fatui?
I do not give it for free. I give it as agreed upon in the contract. For it is a matter...
Yeah, you don't think you went a little bit too far with that whole fake death thing? Everyone was preparing the ceremony for you, and splat! This big dragon falls out of this...
Gathering all the forces that had been bubbling behind the scenes, and then stirring them together in a pot that was bound to...
Wait, what?
Perhaps it's best that I explain. As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years. It is now 3,007. Even boulders that can withstand whirlpools will erode with the passing of time. I kept until one drizzly day. As I was strolling along the harbor, I heard a merchant tell one of his workers. I stood motionless among the crowds, asking myself, have I already finished my duties?
Oh, Zhongli.
But as I began to consider relinquishing my divine role, I soon discovered that many reasons still remained to not hastily depart. Was Liua, the city I had dwelt in for so long, already prepared to enter its next age? I decided that a test was needed in order to reveal the answer. So I feigned my own death, and gathered the cast of Child, the Adepti, and the Liua Qixing to play their roles together on the stage that was Liua. Indeed I was. The Gnosis, which I had kept for so many years, suddenly seemed to have lost its meaning. That's right. Which is why I continued to safeguard the Gnosis until now.
So you mean that if the chaos ever reached the point of no return, you would simply appear and use your divine powers to bring Liua back under control?
Of course, and it would have been all too easy for him too. Just as a child quickly matures after losing their parents, so has Liua matured when faced with the death of its deity.
In the end, the resolution to all that has transpired was even more satisfactory than I could have hoped for. Take the Adepti, for instance. Owing to their years of seclusion, they were the least informed. Yet when faced with a crisis, they commendably showed the greatest amount of restraint possible. Not only did they manage to cooperate with the Qixing, But in the end, they even... Credit is also due to Signora, the emissary dispatched by the Cryo-Archon to fulfill our contract. At my request, she kept everything she knew in strict confidence. This despite the eavesdropping ears of her colleague, Child. This meant I could remain as Zhongli, even having the chance to fulfill the age-old traditions of Liu in this mortal form. Thank you. All of these things turned out as I had planned. There is only one thing that I had not anticipated, and I had expected them to do no more than the Adepti. To come to the defense of... They seized the opportunity to supplant Liu as divine protectors, and used the subsequent power vacuum left by my death to quickly gain complete control of Liu.
Huh? That doesn't sound good at all!
On the contrary, I think it is excellent. I had always feared that it was too soon for them to take over from me. And it was...
Hey, what about me? Doesn't anyone feel the least bit of remorse for deceiving me? You...
I think that thanks would be more appropriate. You certainly played no small part in all of this, wreaking havoc and turning the city upside down. The Lord of Geo ought to thank you for your performance. If you hadn't created the pressure of a battle between mortals, Adepti, and a god, the lump of coal resting in the hands of the Geo-Archon, Liu...
Huh? Just whose side are you on, mocking me like that? Are you itching for a fight? Hey, haven't you learned the Liu saying, don't always call it as you see it?
Well then, with the Gnosis in my possession, I have no use for such idle chatter. We should return to Zappolyarny Palace and seek an audience with Her Majesty.
Fine. I'll meet you there later. I'm not sharing a boat with the likes of you.
Do as you wish.
Now then, is there anything else you wish to ask me?
Right! As Zhongli always told us, a good trade is a fair trade.
Realistically speaking, there is no such thing.
Huh?
However, I am the god of contracts. For thousands of years, I have made countless contracts. My agreement with the Cryo-Archon will be the last of my contracts as the Geo-Archon. My contract to end all contracts. As for the bargaining chip that the Tsaritsa used to balance the scales, uncover that answer for yourself in your...
From the ocean couldn't have just shown up out of nowhere. I mean, it's been 2,000 years since Rex Lapis subdued it. Yes, and to think that this happened right on the say. Do you think the person who assassinated our lord? And now that you mention it, that's very possible. I mean, it all fits together. That person must have colluded with... Still, what sort of supernatural powers? Ah, forget it. Guessing's no use to us. Look, the Millelith over there looks like he's about to make an... Well, since we're going through... So Rex Lapis is really... Oh, come on. Do you think that the assassin could have been a normal person? You know what I think? I don't think any of the gossip. There's only one real possibility in my mind. I've heard that the assassin was that Fatui fellow. Youngest, pretty high in rank. I think they call it Fatui. They certainly aren't. Lower your voice.
Hear ye all! The Chi sings, though a dragon soars ageless as the mountains, it too must gods and Adepti live glorious lives, but both light and shadow have their season. So too, rumors and hearsay abound on the streets that Rex Lapis was having been thwarted in his trial. Rex Lapis's soul has recouped the celestial heights. He beseeches the people of Liu, nor are they to believe street-born rumors or indulge in baseless speculation.
translation on what the Qixing's announcement said. So that's how there's something feels off. Why would they suddenly give up looking for the murderer? Not to mention, how could the Qixing already have known that Rex Lapis wasn't dead? But Zhongli said that neither the... Did Zhongli tell them in secret after his gnosis changed hands? Exactly, right? Ooh, seems like the rite of parting has been... Look, it's Ningguang and Kuqing. Are they saying something?
As said previously, Rex Lapis's soul returning to the heavens is the end of the contract.
3,700 years of contracts burnt and reduced to ash.
We, the people of Liyue, were indeed prosperous. But blinded by our prosperity, we forgot that time can be pitiless.
The long, unending dream of our Archon walking among...
Now that we have awoken from our dream, we must learn. Will you stand with us as we re-establish our contracts? As we build a new age of prosperity?
So concludes the words of Her Eminence the Tianquan. Does Her Eminence the Yuheng have anything to add?
Huh? Is she looking this way?
Traveler.
Yikes! She really is looking our way!
Is that the traveler who they say defeated the ancient god?
So young.
The Liyue Qixing always repay their debts. And as you have heard, our eyes see far and our reach is long. Name your price. You deserve...
Whoa!
Well, could you help me put up some missing person posters?
Roping you in was possibly the most masterful move we could have made. I believe...
Why, you... Were you just trying to look cool earlier? If you were looking for someone, you could have just...
The cleanup of the premises, managing the crowds as they exit, making an account of the rite? There's much that remains...
Hey, Zhongli! Look at this! Everyone in Liyue is caught up in their emotions, thinking that they'll never see Rex Lapis again. And here you are looking all relaxed.
Why would I not feel more at ease after laying down the burden I have borne? Right. If the two of you can spare the time, I should treat you to a meal at the Xinyue kiosk.
Ha! That sounds like big talk, Zhongli. Paimon might have believed you if you were treating us to some third-round knockout, but you'd have to pay out your nose just to stand inside Xinyue kiosk. Are you sure you can afford it?
You're right. I do like the Mora. As the Rex Lapis Morax, I can easily create Mora. But since I have chosen to walk this earth as the mortal Zhongli, when I was journeying with you, though I still had the Gnosis in hand, I knew that I must soon retire from my role as an Archon, So I had to rehearse a little for my new life.
Oh, no wonder. Paimon gets it now. You didn't look at the price tags when we were spending because you've never... But since you weren't used to not being able to just make more mora as and when you wanted to, you had to try becoming a parasite to society who lived...
Well, we were only spending Fatui money. You don't have to say it like that. In the City of Commerce, we do not merely exchange money or goods. We also exchange knowledge. The Archon Morax could never experience life as the true mortal Zhongli could. I must thank you for that. I will treasure the memories that I made as Zhongli, traveling the streets of Liyue with you. That is true. But there is no journey that does not end. No meetings without partings.
Paimon thinks that we should make a move and
I fear that continuing your journey may be difficult. The nation that neighbors Liyue by sea, Inazuma, is present. Yes, the nation has been closed by order of its deity, the Electro-Archon Ball. And just as the people of Liyue preferred to call me Rex Lapis, she too goes by another name among locals in Inazuma.
Paimon thinks we've heard that one before. Raiden?
That is the case. And since Raiden is also the shogun of Inazuma, people call her the Raiden Shogun.
That said, though people at the wharf were saying that the situation in Inazuma is very tense, Paimon doesn't remember that always being the case. It wasn't that bad last year. Zhongli, since you're Rex Lapis, shouldn't you know something about what's happening there? Just how did Inazuma become a close...
It's because of visions.
Visions?
When faced with circumstances beyond their control, humans often bemoan their lack of power. But if a person shows true strength of will at a desperate and fateful moment in their life, this is what visions are. Magical foci bestowed upon those who have been acknowledged by the gods.
That's how people in Teyvat see it.
But starting from last year, the Raiden Shogun began promulgating the Vision Hunt Decree.
Vision Hunt Decree?
Yes. It was an order to seize all visions within Inazuma's borders, and to inlay them upon the hands of the statue of the omnipresent god.
They want to seize visions. But why? Aren't visions blessings from the gods?
I should think that in the Raiden Shogun's eyes, it is precisely because they are divine blessings that they should...
Whoa, that's harsh.
The Animo Archon is the god of freedom, and the Geo Archon is the god of contracts. For her part, the Raiden Shogun is the god of eternity. It seems as though she has finally decided to eliminate the fact that even I, the oldest of the seven, have now passed away, will only strengthen her resolve to pursue eternity. Knowing her, she must have again quoted that adage she is most fond of when proclaiming that decree to her people. 7 ideals for 7 gods, and of these, eternity is nearest unto the heavenly principles. All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know?
Yeah, about that. Before the Qixing made their announcement, we listened to a lot of people talking on the way. Most of them put the blame for everything on
These are indeed false accusations. But it remains undeniably true that Child did send people to the Jade Chamber to prevent the Adepti and the Qixing from defeating. I've heard that Ningguang is busy milking that for all it's worth on the foreign relations front at the moment, browbeating the envoys of the Fatui. Ha! Those poor Snezhnayan diplomats. If it were not for Child's exalted position as a harbinger, I'm certain that they would have shifted all the blame to him and called for his dismissal. All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know? The time of the Adepti has long passed. If even the Liu Qixing don't want to face that truth, Kuching is absolutely right in saying this. Now, though I did laud Ningguang's desire for power, believing this to be a good thing, and thought as a matter of course that she must have been behind the Qixing's plan, could the original person who brought up the idea of seizing power have been... All right then. Was there anything else you wished to know? Ah, that was a good one. Failing a divine trial. That said, the reason why the Qixing were so eager to resolve the incident and stop pursuing the culprit was indeed because they received news in secret that Rex Lapis was not dead. I hinted as much to the Adepti as well. How did I accomplish that, you ask? Have you ever heard of this particularly convenient Adepti art known? All right then. Was there anything else you wished?
That's right! Zhongli, now that you don't have your gnosis, what's going to happen to all the Mora in Teyvat? Since Morax is dead, are they all just gonna disappear? Also, isn't the Golden House the only mint in the entire continent? Will it even continue?
The Mora present now will not vanish. But the Golden House will indeed have to cease operations for a lengthy period.
This is terrible! We're all about to run out of Mora! The world...
Yes, this is indeed a major issue. Well, I suppose...
Then, did you at least set some private funds aside for yourself?
Oh, a private fund.
What's a shame?
It's a shame that I didn't think of it at the time. All right then. Was there anything else you wished to know? Well then, I suppose you'll have to find a way to get inside this closed nation. Have patience.
Children, come, come. You've arrived at just the right moment. I've been looking...
Oh, what is it, Grand?
Oh, no. You've done... In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads together to
A gift? For Paimon?
Oh, child, you are so very modest. Uncommonly so, even. When you traversed my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell, I heard your little friend mention that you often camp out. That simply won't do. Especially, fortunately, I have not yet grown so old as to see my son. Oh, did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to... The teapot that you entered previously was a little trinket created using that ability.
So, in the eyes of an adept...
Oh, indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. But that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that I have prepared for you just requires a few final materials to add the finishing touch.
That's right! Finding stuff's what we're good at, after all.
Oh, settle down now, children. What's more, I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am searching for. Well, for starters, I require some shimmer soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh. Back in the... You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glazed lilies. And if you were lucky enough, But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came. Even more difficult to find is smaragdus jadeite, which must be chiseled from the rock. In any case, smaragdus jadeite is an adepti treasure, and goodness knows if that child will succeed.
Well, since you're an adeptus, Granny, the person you...
Yes, I suppose...
She counts? How come there are so many adepti in Liyue Harbor? We seem to bump into them...
Oh, maybe...
I'm back, Granny. Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Allow me to do the honors. This child here, Yanfei, I believe you already heard of the traveler and his travel...
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you in the Millelith's record. You became one of Liyue's most wanted after the Millelith mark before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Qixing. What a shame. A shame that we didn't meet soon if we had. Well, allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yanfei, a legal advisor. Oh, yes, here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details, and if you have an urgent issue, just...
All right, Yanfei, all right. You'll have to excuse Yanfei.
Paimon was gonna ask the same question. You seem really different from the ones we've...
An adeptus? I guess. Kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, they had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey, leaving me with Granny here.
Well, that's a bit casual for an adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to sign...
Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis, and that he was fine with it. Even contributed towards the wedding anyway. Let's not dwell on that.
Is that so? Yanfei, are you sure you...
I know, Granny, you've told me Hold on.
Whoa, that's a really
Commercial consultancy. Or Snezhnaya Crossel. A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles, and he mentioned that he was considering acquiring some smaragdus jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be aware of. Said he was... So, I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck, he'll have gotten his hands on some smaragdus jadeite. Oh, you want to join me?
Wow, an adeptus imploring a... Best we be a little more...
Hello, Mr. Crossel.
Oh, good, very good. All...
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job.
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, in the end, Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins?
Wait, isn't smaragdus jadeite really rare?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because the contract makes it quite clear that if she loses, or in return, I included a clause that guarantees the smaragdus...
Guaranteed genuine? With 10 times the value payable if...
Of course. This way, both the client and I...
In that case, might you know where Miss Xiaochao lives?
Oh, of course.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossel. We'll...